Hickok 45. Look what I have. A Mosin Nagant 1891 model. No, not the 9130. The real 1891 model, okay? But this is made in 1900, fresh out of Tula, okay? So this gun has been around. That makes it almost 100 years old. Can you imagine shooting a rifle that's almost 100 years old? Just testing you folks in Kentucky. Actually, that makes it 115 years old, doesn't it? Pretty smart, aren't it? So, pretty cool rifle. It's bigger than maybe what you're used to in a Mosin. It's a little heavier, it's a little longer, it's a little older. So let's see if it'll still work, okay? Now I guess I'll put my ears on. Now the safety on a Mosin is very difficult to engage. So my safety is mainly my finger off the trigger and the firearm pointed down range until I'm ready to shoot. So let's just see if it works. I'm not sure whether it will shoot or not. Let's see if it is 2-liter worthy. All right, not bad. Let's go on over to the plate. Oh, sweet, sweet. Oh, I like it, I like it. This thing is a soft shooter, I tell you, because it's so heavy. Let me try that small one. If I can see the sights well enough. Should have gone just under it. Oh, and I think that one's just over. We'll get him before it's over, because I've been popping him. This is a pretty cool rifle, it really is. Let's take a look at it here. Firearms, right? Yeah, this is interesting. I know I've got it uglied up. I'll take that off for a minute. I love the extension though, sorry, you know that. Remember, I'm a big guy. I need a little bit longer length of pull. Now, this one is, it's an 1891, made in 1900, and it has the markings. It has the Russian Imperial crest, and it also has the Finnish markings over here on the side. It's kind of hard to see some of this, but there's a little box there with an SA in it, the Finnish markings, indicating it was probably a capture. You know, the Finns probably captured it from the Russian forces over there, and so it's been owned, maybe and used by the Russians and by the Finns. And in fact, these sling, no, not swivels, but attachments were added by the Finns. Okay, that's the word I've got. So that I'm just going to leave those on, I guess. Kind of interesting. So it has history with two different, I guess countries. You know, Finland when they won their independence, and the history of all of that, I'm not an expert in it, believe it or not. But the Finns had their own civil war, and then I think the Russians helped the Socialist Party and groups within that war, and then Germany helped the other side, and all that is very, very complex. It occurred, back, I guess that was mostly right after World War I. But anyway, so this rifle started out at the Tula factory and ended up in the hands of the Finns, okay? And hence the different markings. So again, it's the 1900. Now I brought the 9130 out just again to show the difference. I'll put the stocks lined up pretty much there, and you see the length. Well, you can't tell. You got 2 or 3 inches longer on the original 91. You notice the stock configuration is a little different. This piece here, now this piece has been replaced, it looks like. Okay, the top handguard there. And you notice your barrel bands. You got steel barrel bands here, and you got the kind of the stamped barrel bands on the 9130s and different attachment, the screw there and everything. And the sights are quite different. And I don't know which is better. I tell you the truth, I like the sight on the 91 because I'm able to get it down. I can't get this one down on the 9130 enough for just moderate distances. Because that's one of the things you run into with a lot of these military rifles, especially the old ones. It's like they weren't planning for anybody to shoot at anything under 300 yards. And so it's hard to get down and get a fine enough bead on that front sight in order to hit anything at 100 yards or 80 yards or whatever. And with this one, if I put it all the way down, I can take a fine bead and it's pretty much right on. So I really like that. That's not something I experienced with a lot of military rifles, okay? These old ones especially. I've had it totally apart, and there was a little bit of surface rust on the barrel. I got that off, and you know, oiled it really well everywhere, and it's just a neat old rifle. These are fun. They're kind of simple, easy for me to say. You know, I mean, all of us probably think, oh, I could have designed that. Yeah, really, could you? At the time, this was state of the art, sort of. I still don't think the Mosin bolt gun is the best bolt gun, but they're durable. They were, I guess, cheap to make, and they worked, and they were accurate. I think they were accurate rifles. That's pretty much the consensus when you say. So interesting string fire. This has the hex receiver here. I know that's a desirable feature. That means you got to go back a ways to get these milled hex receivers. So 1900, pretty cool. Let's take a couple more shots. Well, I got to load them up first. I've got a clip. It's being loaded, but oh, they're really awkward. I'm going to load some. Now, this is one thing. We appreciate Federal as our sponsor. You don't see them on the table today, right? So we really appreciate Federal Premium. And you know, I need to double check. We've got another Mosin coming in, I think, not too distant future that we've never had before. Federal might make some hunting rounds for these. I don't know. You would think maybe they would, or they're thinking about it, because if they're not, because or if they don't, you know, maybe they ought to be thinking about it. There's so many Mosins out there. There's got to be some of you that actually hunt with them, I would think. I don't know. But anyway, we've got to, oh, I just broke the gun. I dropped it. So I'll shoot some of this PPU too. That's more of a modern type of ammo. And actually, I'm not firing any of them. I picked those up in Clarksville the other day. That's something different. Hey, it really is different seeing a brass case round in this 7.62 by 54R round, isn't it? So there's 5. These are soft tips, so they won't hurt as much, right? I love these old. You know, one thing I like about this a lot is, you know, the Mosins are wonderful. There's so many millions of them in this country now, crates of them everywhere, right? But there's something about the finished stocks and everything. It always strikes me as like, is this a reproduction, or did somebody make this in their garage last week? You know, the varnished and everything. That's just simply because they took one like this, and I guess they sanded down the stock a little bit and they smacked the varnish on it. You know, and if they did that, this one would look just like that one. And I guess they re-blued or blackened, you know, all the metal too. And this one hasn't had any of that done, and I like that. I like the fact it has not. It's really an old gun, and it just, I don't know, just has more character than the other one. So I like it, and I have been shooting it better, I think, than any, well, I won't say any of the other Mosins I have, but better than the 9130. But it's probably mainly because of the sight, where I can put the sight right where I want it, and if I can see it, I'm in good shape. So let's take a couple more. Now, I've got a water jug over there, big one, 5-gallon one. I thought, since we're firing a powerful round, let's see if we can hit that thing. I hit the dust. You know what my problem is? I didn't get my, I'll tell you where this pad makes the most difference, this limb saver. It's not in recoil. The recoil doesn't bother me. These things, this thing especially, it's heavy, and the recoil doesn't hurt. But it gives you a better length of pull, and it brings your eye back a little bit from that sight. Most of these old sights like this, they're hard to use unless you got really perfect eyesight. But it brings your head back a little bit, and just enough to help. All right, I heard it hit. That was cool. We might as well try the cinder block while we're over there. Put one on it. It's a big round. I love it. I'll bring it down to cock it because I know it irritates the it really does. I've had some people really almost get mad at me for doing that. Hey, like I'm teaching improper bolt action technique. I'm setting a poor example. I usually answer them the same way. I say, well, when I'm planning to go into combat with a bolt action rifle, I'll start working on that. How's that? Let's do another 2-liter. And if you tell anybody I just missed that 2-liter, I'm going to ban you from the internet. Let's use some surplus here, or at least some this good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on the firearm. Some bolt guns just lend themselves well to just keeping it up on your shoulder, working the bolt, and just keep going. And others are just a little more awkward to do that, or just awkward enough that it's not fun to do it. And I don't know about you, but I shoot for fun. And I'm not any speed contests or anything. And I like to shoot. All right, I did that on purpose. I just wanted to amaze you. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I knocked off some of my targets there. Let's try, let's smoke those little pots there if I can get in a position where I don't blow everything else up. Yeah. You reckon Tsar Nicholas knew that this firearm would be used one day for smoking pots? Boom! Let some more water out there. Oh, I got another round. I'm going to get that 2-liter right there. I missed that one, did I? Yeah, I don't know if I talked about it in the first Mosin video we did, but one reason, speaking of the Tsar, that they went to a firearm like this that held more rounds was the many wars and rebellions that these rifles were involved in. 1877, 1878 with Turkey and the Ottoman Empire. The Turks showed up with lever action Winchesters. I believe it was 1873s. And wow, they put a whooping on some of the Russian soldiers. They were carrying single shot rifles, and those lever guns just ate them alive in several battles. And that's the time when they got to thinking, you know what, we need something that holds more than one round. And in the 1880s, they started doing some serious development. And I guess it was 1890, 1889, along in there, they decided they settled on something that would use smokeless powder, 30 caliber round, something that would reach out there, would go very fast and all that. And hence the Mosin 1891 model came about. Pretty cool. There were different variations of it. I'll go ahead and stick you've seen everything you want to see there, but there were different variations of it and lengths. There was the Dragoon, which was a little shorter, more like the 9130. The Cossack, I think it was called, and I'm not familiar with that one. Then a carbine came out even, like 1907 or something. You've seen them all. There's a lot of different Mosins and variations of it out there. And I like some of those other ones. I like the Model 38, the 91, let's see, 59. There's just some really good little shooting Mosins that are not nearly this big. But there's something about this one, I just like it. So anyway, they needed a rifle that would hold more rounds, and this is it. And they didn't make many of them really, just 37 million, something like that. So if you wonder why there's so many of them in gun shops, gun shows, crates full of them, that's the reason. It seems to have slowed down lately, but there are a lot of them out there somewhere, and so it just depends on import laws, different things going on politically in terms of as to how many of them we can get and how much they cost. But as we all know, it is one of the best buys. It's one of the best rifles for the money, and that's pretty clear. So many shooters own one, even if it's not their favorite rifle. It just has so much history that it's hard to ignore. Nice. Let's go back over there and pop that. Oh, I never did pop that little plate, did I? I'm a loser until I hit it. All right. Oh, the cinder block needs some more work too. Okay. Yeah, I kind of flinched on that. Boy, that thing is heavy. But it shoots a powerful round, and it really is, with or without the pad, it's a soft shooting rifle. It feels like you're shooting the 7.62 by 39 or something like that. It's just it's cool. I like this whole thing. It may be become one of my favorite Mosins for sure. I don't know what else about it I didn't brag on yet or tell you about. If you've ever had one, you know how they work. There's no big mystery. Let your rounds out that way if you want to, and close it up. And I've had all that apart. Everything seems to be in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of pitting on the outside of the barrel, but it's not too bad. It's a big old gun, man. And well, I've got to load a few more. Okay, a couple more shots with it. So we all know the Mosins pretty well. We see them all the time, and I'm just glad to have an original. I guess you call it original. They made some changes after 91 as they started into them, some minor tweaks here and there, of course, all the way through in the different models. But this one, just what, 9 years after they started. Pretty smart, aren't I? 1900, 1891, 9 years into it. So this baby goes back, and I mean, this thing. I mean, if you do some research on these and look at the wars and rebellions that these were used in, the list is long. It must be like 30, different altercations, engagements, wars, rebellions that these Mosins were involved in. So there's no telling where this one has been or that one. But just note that one's the 1941. But since 1900, oh man, there's just no telling all the various places this thing might have been and who has carried it. Okay, and it's almost comical, really, when you think of the contrast. It just seems so incongruent. All the serious battles this rifle has probably been involved in, desperate people in desperate situations and everything else. I mean, in the battles and all that. But now it's kind of like a retired racehorse, I guess. It's just enjoyed by me and John here in the woods, plinking at 2 liters and things. So it gets to live out its days without so much anger involved, except for the days when I have trouble hitting a 2 liter and I get angry, right? So it's just interesting to think about all that. I don't know. Again, I don't want to assign too much personality or any human characteristics to a piece of metal and wood, because that's what the anti-gunners like to do when they talk about gun violence. And I always point out there's no such thing as gun violence or gun kindness. They're just inanimate objects. So we don't want to get too caught up in that. But you can't help but just respect, the history of something like this, and how probably never in its life since 1900 has it shot a bowling pin until today. So I have broadened its horizons. Oh, there's a 2 liter I almost missed. Ooh, cool. And you know what? This, whatever it is, I forget, detergent thing is filled with water. And John is sneaking behind me. He doesn't want to get drenched. Man, that is a powerful round. No doubt about it. We got a couple more. Let's see if I can finish off that cinder block. Ooh. Something created a lot of dust. Got to put 2 more in. Sorry, water everywhere. Cool. Let's see. Let's shoot the old metal case stuff here. A couple of these. Steel case. Neat thing about these is, of course, you can shoot them all day long. Well, not all day. Ammo would get expensive, but you can go out and shoot them 10 or 20 times, and you don't break the bank. All right, cinder block, you're going down. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Cinder dust. Yeah, hitting cinder, not sure where. All kinds of dust there. Let's go on red plate duty. And we'll finish up with red plate. Oh, got to get one more. Sorry, John. What's wrong with me? Can't get it up just quite high enough. I take a fine bead. Do you ever have that problem when you know where you need to hold, but you just let the trigger off a little too soon as you bring it up? All right, propane tank. See, this one's a little bit awkward for me to do that with. So speed work it. All right, went over. Okay, I was going to say it would be appropriate to hit the red plate on the last shot because, get it, Russian. So this is pretty neat. It's an old gun, quite an antique, still usable. A firearm of almost any era still generally does what it was designed to do. It's just there's a lot better options now, right? And pretty cool, 1891 model, made in 1900, carrying both the Russian crest and markings from Finland, showing use both places. So glad we could bring it to you, and I'm glad you could come out here to the compound today and enjoy it with me. And I wish you could shoot it. Life is good. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors, SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI has fully accredited distance learning programs where you can get certified in gunsmithing or even an associate's degree in firearms technology. Of course, the study includes hands-on experience, which is important, of course. So check it out. Go to sdi.edu or just click on the link in the description. Okay? And also, we'd like to remind you to check out the Hickok 45 Facebook page and the Hickok 45 and Son channel and its Facebook page, as well as Gun Culture Radio on iTunes. Now remember all this, because I'm coming to your house randomly over the next year or two to give you a quiz on it, okay? Thank you.